Good morning students. I welcome you all class 10 students on this online virtual learning platform provided by Jagrati classes. Now we'll do the last section of this unit, which is the different types of chemical compounds. Before starting that, we'll do a short topic, what is pH scale. So pH scale is a scale which is used for determining the nature of the solutions, that is either it is acidic or basic. We determine the nature of the solution, acidic or basic. Plus we can determine its strength. Strength means, is the acid or base strong or is it weak? We have discussed in different types of acid or base. Okay, strong acid, strong bases. Then we discussed weak acid and weak bases. So here the pH scale is a device, is a measuring scale which tells us about the nature and the strength. It gives the nature of the solution as well as the strength of the solution. So now starting with the pH scale. Okay, the pH scale is a measuring device and it starts from 1 to 14. It starts from 1 and ends in 14. The midpoint of this scale is at 7. The solutions which have a pH value of 7 are termed as neutral solutions. These solutions are called neutral. Now you all know we discussed three types of salt: acidic, basic and neutral. So here neutral means when the same strength of acid combines with the same strength of base, the resulting salt is always a neutral salt. So here neutral means the pH value of exact 7. Now moving on to this. When the pH value is from 1 to, let's say, 1 to less than 7. 1 to less than 7 covers whole of this section. 1 to less than 7. These solutions are termed as acidic solutions. The solutions which show a pH value of 1 to less than 7 are termed acidic. And similarly, the solutions which show a pH value from more than 7 to less than 14 or equal to 14, these solutions are termed basic solutions. So and exactly 7 gives us what? Neutral solutions. So the solutions having pH less than 7 are acidic, and the solutions showing pH more than 7 up to 14 are basic. So this gives an idea about nature of solution, that is it acidic, is it basic, or is it a neutral solution. You can determine by using pH scale. One more thing here I wanted to tell you, the pH value from, let's say, 1 to 3. The acids showing pH value from 1 to 3 are called strong acid. And the acid solution showing pH value more than 3 and less than 7, these are weak acid. So all the solutions coming in this range from 1 to 7 are acidic, or less than 7 are acidic. But acidic, they may be strong, they may be weak. Acidic means, strong acid means which are coming on the left side of the scale. They show a strong character. And weak means which comes to the right near 7. These are called weak acids. Similar case is with the base. The bases which come to the right, these are strong base. That is, they show a strong character, strong strength. Whereas the bases coming to the left, not at the extreme end, to the left of this 14, they are known as weak bases. So we have two categories of acid and base. They are strong and weak. The acid, so you can remember this by a concept that on the extreme ends, this is the scale, and on its ends, we have strong character. Either it is a base or it is an acid. At the ends, always strong thing is present. Okay. At the extreme left, what do you have? At the extreme left end, we have a strong acid. And at the extreme right, what do you have? You have the strong base. So ends are occupied by strong chemical components. That is, right hand contains a strong base, whereas the left hand contains a strong acid. And the midpoint, the number 7, exactly middle, present in the middle of 1 and 14. This solution is a neutral solution. So this is what the pH scales tell us about. Let's suppose I give you an example. Okay, if I have a pH value of 6, tell the nature of this. If I have a pH value of 7.8, what would be its nature? And if the pH value is 12, can you guess or tell the nature of these solutions? Yes, pH value 6. Where would 6 come? 6 would come somewhere here. So it shows an acidic character. But is it a strong acid or a weak? I said the acids coming near to 7 are always weak acids. So the answer to this will be, it is a weak acid. What about pH 7.8? The strength of pH 7.8 is what? What is the nature? 7.8 means a solution coming in this range. So 7.8 symbolizes its basic nature. And what kind of base? A strong base or a weak base? Because the value is near to 7, just greater than 7. So it would also be a weak base. But for the value pH 12, pH 12 will come occupy near the end. So this symbolizes it is what? It is a strong base. It is strongly basic solution. This is the pH scale which we use to identify the nature, acidic, basic or neutral, and its strength or power. So power, maybe it would be strong acid or it may be weak acid. Similar is the case with base. It can be a strong base or it can be a weak base. So this is the pH scale. Now we'll discuss some points which shows the importance of pH. We are discussing now the importance of pH in daily life. Okay? In our day-to-day life. Some common examples we'll take. The first example, that is, you all know, in our digestive systems, in our stomach. In our digestive system, what do we have? We have an acid. Can you tell the name of the acid? Yes, students, the acid present in our digestive system, that is particularly in our stomach, is HCl, hydrochloric acid. This acid, what is the function of this acid? We generally read the functions in biology. Its function is to digest fats, or its function is to kill the germs or bacteria which enter the body with the food. Here what we want to discuss is HCl means hydrochloric acid. You should all now be well aware about their names. Hydrochloric acid. So this acid has certain functions, but if this acid is produced in excess amount, the excess secretion of this acid leads to a disorder or leads to acidity. Okay, this is a very general problem. The secretion of excess HCl, hydrochloric acid, in the stomach leads to acidity problems. And to cope up with the problem, what do you take? You take antacids. You take tablets, and these tablets which fight against acidity are called antacids. Antacids are what? They are the tablets which are made up of solutions which are made up of basic solutions or basic chemicals. What do you mean by basic? That is, its pH is greater than 7. So to incorporate the excess acid produced in the stomach, we take antacid, and these antacids are basic in nature. So the acid in our stomach, when the acid in our stomach combines with these antacid, or I can say the base, this is what? Which kind of reaction is this? Yes, this is neutralization reaction. When an acid reacts with base, it is only neutralization. And what are the products obtained? The products obtained are a neutral salt. In neutralization reaction, the salt formed is always neutral. We can have any three categories of salt. We know salt can be acidic, basic or neutral. But during neutralization reaction, whenever an acid reacts with base to form the salt, this salt is always neutral. Because of this neutral salt formation, the reaction is called neutralization. And the next byproduct with the salt is water, H2O. This reaction I have discussed in very detail. So the inhalation of antacids, that is the intake of antacids, is basic in nature. So when this acid from our stomach reacts with the antacid tablets, a neutral salt is formed and the acidity is minimized. So this is the role of pH in our digestive system. And the pH of salt, we have just discussed. What is the pH of any neutral substance? The pH of neutral thing is exactly equals to 7. So the pH of this salt would be 7 and the excess acid would be neutralized. The next application, it is again in our human body and it is tooth decay. The next application is the decay produced in your tooth. Okay, it is generally advised not to eat many sweet things and many chocolates. It destroys your teeth. So this tooth decay, how does it really occurs? We'll see. The pH of our mouth is usually 5.5 to 6. The pH value of our mouth is 5.5 to 6. What is there? Every food we eat, on this food, certain bacteria act upon, and these bacteria converts this food into sugars. Okay? Or we can say, the food that we eat actually contains sugar. You should know, example, the wheat chapati which we eat daily, it also contains a suitable amount of sugar in it. Yes, it does not taste sweet, but it contains sugar. If you know, the diabetes patients are advised to eat a less number of chapatis than rice, because the wheat chapatis which we eat have a suitable amount of sugar in them. So this sugar is acted upon by bacteria. That is, bacteria act on this sugar and convert them to acids. And if we eat much sugar, much chocolates or much sweets, if we have a sweet tooth, then we would increase the amount of sugar in our diet. And if this sugar increases, the bacteria work more rapidly and the production of acid in our tooth increases. If acid production increases, then this acid reduces our pH. The pH of our mouth gets reduced. That is, the pH becomes less than 5.5. The pH becomes less than 5.5. You all know I have just now discussed the pH scale. In the middle it is 7, that is neutral solution. Here comes 1 and here comes 14. Here all the solutions are called acidic, and on the right side they are called basic solutions. So when we have pH 5.5, 5.5 is what? Moderately acidic. But if we increase the amount of sugar in our diet, the bacteria will work on the sugar and hence the amount of acid will also increase. Increase in the concentration of acid shifts the pH value to the left. That is, remember one thing, a key point I am writing, that what is pH? pH means, or the formula of pH, which will come in higher classes, pH is called minus log of H plus ion concentration. That is, pH is dependent directly on minus H plus ion concentration. When the concentration of H plus ions will increase, your pH value will decrease. That is, when the concentration of H plus increases, then the acidic character increases. Acidic character increases. H plus is directly proportional to acidic character. Directly proportional means when one quantity is increased, the relative quantity also show an increase. So on increase in H plus ions, the acidic character increases, and as a result of acidic character increases, the pH value decreases. That is, the pH scale shifts to left. Okay. So here when the sugar increases, acid also increases, and the amount in acid, when acidic character increases, pH value reduces. So this increase in acid reduces the pH to less than 5.5. Now the pH reduces to less than 5.5 and we have the tooth decay. We have decay problems in our tooth. So it is advised not to intake much sugars in your diet, especially in the form of sweets and chocolates. So this was the second application of pH or importance of pH. Now we will discuss the third application or importance of pH. It is ant bite. You see, whenever an ant bites us, okay, this ant bite, the ant produces an acid. Ant produces an acid. And this acid which the ant produces is generally formic acid. So, during ant bite, the acid produced is formic acid. Now, to neutralize the formation of this formic acid or to neutralize this, what we do? We apply a calamine solution, or just to neutralize the acid produced, apply a base. And here the base applied is, for example, sodium bicarbonate. When you apply sodium bicarbonate available in the form of medicinal tubes, then the formation of this formic acid is neutralized. A neutral salt is produced. Or the next thing you can apply is zinc calamine, or it is called calamine solution. Okay, zinc calamine can also be applied to neutralize the formation of formic acid. For this tooth decay, what we should do? We should use alkaline toothpaste. Toothpaste should be used 2 times daily, and the nature of toothpaste is alkaline, or it shows a basic nature. So when this acid combines with base, the effect is neutralized and hence the tooth are prevented from decaying. The next was ant bite. Now the next application. The next application is usually in the agriculture. You can also include these points if you are asked, give some importance of neutralization reaction. Then the same which we are discussing, the importance of pH will be included in the neutralization. So the fourth application is application in farming or agriculture. In agriculture, what do we generally require? For the proper growth of plants. For proper growth of plants, the soil required should be of neutral pH, and neutral pH means the pH value should be exactly equals to 7. So the soil pH for proper growth is 7. Now if there may be 2 conditions or 2 difficulties faced by the farmers. The first problem is when the pH becomes less than 7. When the pH becomes less than 7. Or it might happen that the pH becomes more than 7. Okay, these are the 2 difficulties which can be faced by farmers. If the pH becomes less than 7, we have recently discussed our pH scale. The pH less than 7 symbolizes which kind of solution? Yes, it symbolizes an acidic condition or acidic solutions. And the pH more than 7, I have taught you recently our pH scale. It starts from 1 and ends to 14. The midpoint is 7. 7 is called the neutral solution. On the left hand side of 7, what we get is acidic. And on the right hand side, we have our basic nature of solutions. So when the pH is less than 7, so on moving to less than 7, the solution becomes acidic, and similarly the soil becomes acidic. While on moving to more than 7, that is moving to the right of 7, what we get is the basic solution. So we get the soil becomes basic. But for the proper growth of plants, what we require is that we require a pH of 7. We need the soil to be neutral. So what can we do? If it becomes acidic, to neutralize it, you can use a base. So this is again an example of neutralization reaction. Neutralization is when an acid reacts with base, a salt is formed, and this salt is always neutral in character. So for removing the acidity of the soil or the acidic character, what you can add is you can add a base. For example, in the fertilizers, the base used is calcium oxide or calcium hydroxide. These are the bases which are generally used to reduce the acidic character of the soil. And if your soil becomes basic, then you can add the compost. Compost comprises of acidic materials, acidic organic matter, which in turn mix with the basic character and makes the soil completely neutral. So these are the applications of pH in our day-to-day life or the daily life. These are the common examples. Now we'll discuss the last section of this unit. First of all, I would like to discuss sodium chloride. A process is given in your books about sodium chloride, that is the process of electrolysis. So sodium chloride, what is the formula of sodium chloride? It is called NaCl. The formula of sodium chloride is NaCl. Now this NaCl is made up of two ions, Na positive and Cl negative. Its common name. The common name of sodium chloride is, we say it is our common salt. Common name is common salt, or it is generally referred to as table salt. And what are the uses of sodium chloride? Sodium chloride is used to enhance the taste of our food, and it is rich in iodine. So sodium chloride is also a great source of iodine. Now we'll discuss a very important process which is called electrolysis. It is called electrolysis of sodium chloride. Okay, for discussing electrolysis, first you should understand what do you understand by the term electrolysis. Electrolysis means breakdown of a component on passing of electricity. So here the word electrolysis. Electro का मतलब है in the presence of electric current. In the presence of electric current. And lysis means breakdown. So electrolysis means breaking off of a component into its constituent particles in the presence of electric current. Whenever you pass electricity to your given compound, it breaks to form different particles. This is what electrolysis means. So for understanding electrolysis, let us draw an apparatus diagram. We take a beaker and we take two electrodes. Electrodes are nothing but the rods made up of carbon compounds. So we have here two electrodes. We fill this beaker with our NaCl solution. Or particularly, it is given that we have incorporated a brine solution here. Sometimes it is asked in exam, what do you mean by brine solution? Brine is nothing. Whenever our sodium chloride, NaCl, is mixed with water, it is called brine. And I've told you in the introduction of the chapter about the states, then we said that when anything is mixed with water, it is termed as aqueous solution. So brine, what is the meaning of brine? Brine means when NaCl is dissolved in water. Or we can write, brine means the aqueous solution of NaCl. What does brine means? Brine means the aqueous solution of sodium chloride. Okay, whenever sodium chloride is dissolved in water. So we have taken a brine solution in our beaker and we have dipped two electrodes. Now I am connecting these electrodes with the help of wire to our electricity source, that is a cell. Now cell is represented by the symbol, this symbol. The larger line indicates the positive terminal of our cell and the smaller line shows the negative terminal. Whenever a positively charged end of a cell is connected to an electrode, the electrode also becomes positively charged, and such positively charged electrode is called an anode. What is an anode? The positively charged electrode which we are using is referred as anode. And when the negative side or negative terminal of the battery is connected to our electrode, so this electrode gains a net negative charge, and this negatively charged electrode is referred to as cathode. So we have taken a beaker, and in the beaker we have filled our brine solution, which is our salt dissolved in water. Now we took anode and cathode, two different electrodes, and connected to a cell or battery. This is our cell. What do we observe? On passing electric current, whenever electric current is passed through the circuit, then the ions which we have in the solution is Na plus, Cl minus. And also, because of the aqueous nature, we also have water here. So water breaks down to form two ions, that is H plus and OH minus. So these are the different ions which we have in our solution. In our solution, on passing electric current, the ions break down and this sodium chloride dissociates to form Na positive, that is cation of sodium, and the chloride anion. And similarly, on passing electricity, water breaks down in H plus and OH minus. So these ions are present in our solutions. Now what we observe is that these chloride ions are negatively charged. So these negatively charged chloride ions are attracted to our positive electrode. You all know that opposite charges attract each other. So these negatively charged ions get attracted to anode. They deposit on anode. And these positively charged ions, where do they go? They go to the cathode. That is, they get deposited on the cathode. Now what happens when this Cl minus goes to anode? जब ये anode पे जाएगा, then it would release electron and become chloride. Now the next ion would also come on anode, release its extra electron and become Cl. When these two Cl combine at anode, chloride gas is evolved out. So we get our product chloride gas, which is evolved at which electrode? Which is evolved at anode. Similarly, when Na plus, it is positively charged, so it would be attracted to the negative electrode, that is cathode. And when this Na plus migrates to cathode, then it becomes Na. That is, it takes one electron from this and becomes Na solid form. And when this Na reacts with the water molecule, it forms NaOH, sodium hydroxide. With it, a hydrogen gas is evolved out. So there is a question which is asked in exam. Name the gases which are evolved at anode and cathode. So at anode, which gas is evolved? At anode we have Cl2, chlorine gas. Whereas at cathode, hydrogen gas is evolved out or released. So this is the process of electrolysis of NaCl. What do you mean by electrolysis? When electric current is passed, NaCl breaks down into the respective ions. This is called electrolysis. And as we know, Na is positively charged, so Na will migrate to the cathode, that is the oppositely charged electrode. And here Cl negative will migrate to anode, which is the positive electrode or positive terminal. So you should remember, at anode the chlorine gas is evolved out, whereas at cathode hydrogen gas is evolved. We also have an important product here. It is NaOH, sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide is deposited on this electrode, on the walls of this electrode. So now we'll discuss some uses of our three main products formed. What were our three products? Our products was hydrogen gas, which was formed at what? Hydrogen gas was formed at cathode. This was our first product. Then the second product was chloride or Cl2 gas, chlorine gas. And where this chlorine gas was evolved? It was released at our positive terminal, that is anode. Always remember, anode is our positively charged electrode and cathode was our negatively charged electrode. Then the third important product is sodium hydroxide. We obtained sodium hydroxide. And this sodium hydroxide, that is NaOH, where did we get it? On anode or on cathode? Correct. We got it on cathode electrode. This sodium hydroxide got deposited on the walls of our cathode electrode. Now we are dealing with some importance of these. Hydrogen gas. So this H2 is used in the formation of ammonia. H2 is used in the formation of ammonia. There is a reaction, that is when hydrogen reacts with nitrogen, it forms ammonia. Okay, and for balancing it, we put a coefficient that is 3. Also, hydrogen is used as a fuel, not as a domestic fuel because it is corrosive. Okay, it is dangerous, but as an industrial fuel, hydrogen is used. The next advantage is hydrogen is used in the formation of margarine. Margarine is nothing, it is a sort of artificial butter. Okay, so it is used in the formation of margarine. So we discussed 3 uses of our byproduct hydrogen gas which was obtained on cathode. Now we'll see the uses of chlorine gas. So the first use is chlorine is used as a disinfectant. Chlorine here is used as a disinfectant. Disinfectant means it helps to kill the germs. It kills the germs present in water or in liquid. Then you have often heard that we do chlorination of the swimming pools. Chlorination of swimming pools means when chlorine is added to the water of the pool to make it free from bacteria. Then chlorine is used as a gas for chlorination of swimming pools. It is used as a disinfectant. It is also used in the formation of CFC. CFC is our chlorofluorocarbons. Chlorofluorocarbons are often used in air conditioners and refrigerators. They are a cooling agent. So chlorofluorocarbons, chlorine is used to form CFC. Then chlorine is also used to form PVC, that is polyvinyl chloride. Chlorine is used in the formation of polyvinyl chloride. So these are some uses of chlorine. Now what we see is the use of sodium hydroxide, NaOH. Remember, sodium hydroxide is used in labs. It is known as brine solution when it is dissolved in water, and it is used for lab work or laboratory purpose. It is used as a laboratory reagent. Okay, this is not a brine. Brine was NaCl plus water. The use of sodium hydroxide is in laboratory. Then when sodium hydroxide combines with chlorine, it forms a reagent which is known as bleach. And as the name suggests, what is the use of bleach? Bleaches are used in bleaching of the fabrics or to kill the germs. Bleaching powder is also used, or this bleach is also used as an important oxidizing agent. Then we can also have this sodium is used in paper industries. NaOH, sodium hydroxide, is used in paper industries. Okay, this sodium hydroxide also has an important use. It is used in factories for degreasing of the metals. Degreasing the metals. This is one of the important use of NaOH, sodium hydroxide. So the use of sodium hydroxide are, sodium hydroxide is used in paper industries, then sodium hydroxide is used in degreasing the metals. Also, sodium hydroxide is used as an important laboratory reagent. With this sodium hydroxide combines with chloride to form a bleach. And bleach, what is its purpose? It is used in the bleaching of clothes. And I told you it is also used as a great oxidizing agent. Do you remember the concept of oxidizing and reducing agent? We discussed it. What do you mean by oxidizing agent? Those agents which do the oxidation of other. ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट्स उन केमिकल्स को कहते हैं जिनके खुद के पास ऑक्सीजन होती है और वो दूसरों को ऑक्सीजन दे देते हैं, दूसरों का ऑक्सीडेशन करवाते हैं, एंड दे इटसेल्फ अंडरगो रिडक्शन. So these agents are called oxidizing agent, and this bleach here, this bleach behaves as a very good oxidizing agent. Then we also have one more use, that is this hydrogen. The first byproduct combines with chlorine. Hydrogen gas combines with chlorine to form what? HCl. So this hydrochloric acid is also a very strong acid. It is used in cleaning steel. It is used in giving the shine to our steel utensils for cleaning out the steel, and it also works as a laboratory reagent. So this was all the account of the use of electrolysis of NaCl, and the byproducts so obtained are used for very lot of purpose. Okay, so these are the purpose of the oxidizing agents or the byproducts obtained. Now what it is given is the use of bleaching powder. So now the second thing what we are studying is bleaching powder. This is the common name of the chemical. So what does its IUPAC name? Its IUPAC name is calcium oxychloride. CaOCl2 is the formula of bleaching powder, and the name is calcium oxychloride. Okay, and what are the uses of bleaching powder? Very simple. The first use is bleaching powder is used to bleach. Bleach means to fade away the color or to lighten the dark shades of color. It is used to bleach cotton and linen. Cotton and linen fabrics. So this is the first use. Then it is also used to kill germs. Bleaching powder is also used to kill a variety of germs, and particularly involving bacteria. Then the next use of bleaching powder, the third one, it is used or it acts as a good oxidizing agent. It is used as a good oxidizing agent. So these are the uses of bleaching powder. Bleaching powder is called CaOCl2, that is calcium oxychloride. It is used as an oxidizing agent. It is used to bleach our fabrics made up of cotton and linen, and it is used to kill germs or bacteria. And there is a short reaction given in your books, how bleaching powder is prepared. So the reaction for preparation is when calcium hydroxide is reacted with chlorine, then the form what we obtain, the product obtained is called bleaching powder. This is the short method of preparation of bleaching powder. So we discussed some important, firstly today we discussed what do you mean by pH. Then we said that as the value of pH increases, the H plus ion concentration decrease, because pH was directly proportional to minus log of H plus. That is, pH increase shows decrease in H plus ions concentration, and as a result H plus ion concentration decreases, then the acidic character of the solution also decreases. Then we observed some basic use of pH, that is role of pH in our digestive systems, role of pH in our oral health. Oral health symbolizes the health of our mouth or teeth. Then we saw the use of pH in agriculture, particularly the pH of soil. And this was some important chemical compounds. So we are now left with 3 to 4 chemical compounds, that are plaster of Paris, that is made from gypsum. Then we have bleaching powder, we have already discussed. Now the remaining three, first is plaster of Paris, POP. Then we'll discuss washing soda and baking soda, okay? Their preparation and their uses in the next video. So thank you everyone for joining. Please revise your concept sitting at home. Thank you.